Mr. Wolf's Pancakes. One day, Mr. Wolf was feeling hungry. He fancied some pancakes. Yum, yum, he said, licking his lips at the thought of a big pile of fresh, delicious pancakes. Mr. Wolf had never made pancakes before, so he took his big recipe book down off the shelf and looked inside. But wolves can't read very well, and Mr. Wolf had trouble making sense of it, so he went to get some help from his neighbours. Can you see? What's he done wrong with that book? It's upside down! Silly Mr. Wolf. You wouldn't do that, would you? Upside down. He called on Chicken Licken, who lived nearby. Please, can you help me read this? He asked. No, said Chicken Licken, slamming the door in Mr. Wolf's face. Bang! Oh, dear, said Mr. Wolf. He sat down and slowly read the book and worked out what he needed all by himself. Clever man, Mr. Wolf. You think you can work out how he worked out what he needed? What do I always tell you? To look at the pictures. I think that's what he's done. Can you see he needs some... What do you think that is? It's got some wheat. There's a bit of a clue. It comes in a papery package. It starts... I think that's a there, isn't it? Flour. Oh, well done. What are these? That's an easy peasy one. It's even got some hens on the top to give you a clue. Eggs. And some... That one's got a cow on it, can you see? Oh, milk. And look now, he's got his book up the right way as well. Well done, Mr. Wolf. Mr. Wolf looked in his cupboard for the ingredients, but he couldn't find anything he needed. I'll go to the shop, he decided, and he settled down to write a list. But wolves aren't very good at writing, so Mr. Wolf called on Wee Willie Winkie. Do you think he'll help? Look at his face. He doesn't look very helpful, does he? You're very clever, said Mr. Wolf. Can you help me write my shopping list, please? No, said Wee Willie Winkie. Go away! He slammed his door. Bang! There's no need to be like that, said Mr. Wolf quietly. Mr. Wolf sat down and tried very hard with his writing until he had made his shopping list all by himself. You're good at writing, aren't you? Have you written a shopping list recently? Do you remember when we used to go to the shops and you'd buy all the ingredients for the cakes that we would make at school? And you would write a shopping list. You would write eggs, eggs, 3 sound buttons, that word. Flour, 4 sound buttons in flour, isn't there? What did he need? He needed milk, didn't he? Ilk. Oh, 4 sound buttons in milk. Ilk. And if you were making cakes, you'd need sugar as well, wouldn't you? Sugar. But can you remember? Sugar is a really weird word to spell, isn't it? It's like sugar, isn't it? Can you remember that? R. That pirate R at the end. And what else? If we were making cakes, what else would we need? Sweeties. Sweets. I bet you could make a shopping list. Although it's weird at the shops at the moment, isn't it? Very strange indeed. Mr. Wolf sat down and tried very hard with his writing until he'd made his shopping list all by himself. He did a really, really good job. Can you see? He's written milk and eggs and flour. Well done, Mr. Wolf. Now he needed to count his money to make sure he had enough. But wolves aren't very good at counting, so he went to the gingerbread man for some help. Look at his face. Does he look helpful? I don't think so. Can you help me count my money, please? He asked politely. No, I'm too busy to bother with you, said the gingerbread man, slamming his door. Bang! That'll be nice. So Mr. Wolf had to sit down and count his money. It took him a long time and he had to check it 3 times before it was right. But he did it all by himself. Well done, Mr. Wolf. Did any of you earn some money the other week, like we were suggesting in our tasks? Did you do any jobs? Did you get your 2p for hanging up the washing? And 2p for doing your phonics? 2p for doing your numbers? What was the other one? 2p for pairing the socks. And what was the other job you could have done? Numbers, phonics, pairing the socks, hanging up the washing and doing your exercises with Joe Wicks. Maybe you could have had 2, 4, 6, 8, 10p for all those jobs. Oh, fabulous. Mr. Wolf needed a basket to carry his shopping, so he called on Little Red Riding Hood. Please, may I borrow your basket? He asked very nicely. I'm not lending my basket to you, said Little Red Riding Hood. Now, clear off. So Mr. Wolf set off to the shop without a basket. Oh, I'll manage, he said. They're being rather mean to him, aren't they? Do you think he might have been mean to them in the past? Or in other stories, wolves are often mean, aren't they? But this Mr. Wolf seems really nice. I'm sure he's a lovely chap, really. So he's going to Old Mother Hubbard's general store. Mr. Wolf went to the shop. My magic wand's there. And silver bells and cockle shells. How exciting. He looked at his list, remembered what he needed, counted out his money and carried the eggs, milk and flour home, all by himself. It's a bit like the little red hen, this story, isn't it? Do you remember she has to plant the seeds, water the seeds, cut down the wheat, take the wheat to the baker, to the miller who mills the wheat down into the flour, cook the bread, and then bake the bread all by herself, doesn't she? Now it was time to make the pancakes, but wolves aren't very good at cooking, so Mr. Wolf called on the 3 little pigs. Please, can you help me cook my pancakes? I'll share them with you, he said kindly. No chance, chorused the pigs, slamming their doors. Bang, bang, bang! Mr. Wolf felt sad because nobody wanted to help him. Mr. Wolf went home and started to make the pancakes all by himself. Soon there was a huge pile of delicious pancakes on the table, all ready for eating. Do you remember in The Little Red Hen what happens at the end after she's baked the bread? Do the animals stay away or do they all come round saying, we'll help you eat your bread? They do, don't they? They say, we'll help. Do you think all of the characters that Mr. Wolf has asked to help might say, we'll help you eat your pancakes? Now they can smell them and they taste delicious, I bet. They were on the table, ready for eating. Now, as Mr. Wolf had been making his pancakes, a lovely smell had drifted out of the kitchen and all of his neighbours could smell it. Like 3 little pigs. The gingerbread man. Pass wee Willy Winky. Even Red Riding Hood can smell. All of his neighbours could smell it and it made them feel very hungry. They wanted some pancakes too and decided to try their luck. You see, that's the map. You can see everyone. I like a map. You can see where everybody is and what they're up to, can't you? So they knocked on Mr. Wolf's door. Give us some of your pancakes, said the rotten lot. Didn't even say please. Look at their faces. They don't look very nice, do they? Why should I give any to you, said Mr. Wolf. Not one of you would help me. We'll help you eat them, replied Mr. Wolf's neighbours nastily. Anyway, we're not going away until you give us some. appalled. That's terrible. Mr. Wolf thought very hard for a moment. There was only one decent thing to do. What do you think he's going to do? Is he going to be kind? Give them some. Oh, very well then, he sighed. You'd better come in. Isn't that nice? He's invited them in. Wow, what a lovely chap he was. Mr. Wolf opened the door wide and whoosh! His greedy neighbours rudely pushed him aside and dashed down the hall. What, you've been chicken licking? Mr. Wolf shook his head, shrugged his shoulders and followed them into the kitchen. And when they were all in the kitchen, the gingerbread man, the three little pigs, Wee Willie Winkie, Red Riding Hood and Chicken Licking, all being push, shovey, shovey, getting into the kitchen to eat his pancakes. When they were all in, Mr. Wolf gobbled them up, snippety snappety. That was the end of his unhelpful neighbours. And then, with his bulging tummy not quite full, Mr. Wolf sat down to eat his pile of pancakes. And he did it all by himself. That was a funny one, wasn't it? Well, there was nobody else around to share them with him.